we would love to pitch to you as government and see how best we can get this to work. My two guests, please. I will also open the floor to questions in a bit. Just be very brief and straight to the point. And in case you're watching us either on TV or the other web, please just interact with us on GES 2015 Kenya, GES 2015 Kenya, and you can tag PSU Digital or Nexus, and you shall be able to interact with us. Your Excellency, we have a lot of questions, but I'll save that for the next section. Over to you, Alice, for this panel session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ted Kwaka, I can call him Big Ted because he's bigger than me. So thank you so very much. And straight into it, we're glad to have quite a distinguished panel with us, President Uhuru Kenyatta, who has said what his government does, what his government is intending to do. So no need to introduce you much more. We shall ask you the tough questions in a few minutes. What I want to do is introduce the other person you're seeing sitting on the panel, who should be much famous than she is right now. She's got an excellent CV. It's about 25 pages long. I've wrote about this much of it. Her interest is in critical thinking and innovating in a holistic manner, but some of the stuff she's done is quite impressive. She sits on the advisory board for the World Bank on ICT and development, so trying to get the Kenyan platform on a global platform. She was on the board of the CCK, that's the Communications Commission, as it was then, of Kenya. Former Deputy Director of the ILAP, which Mr. President, you said you could not stay yourself away from, but you managed. And she was also a change advisor in the Chief Justice's office. So looking at Kenya from a much more holistic perspective, but I want to start with you, Your Excellency. Didn't introduce her? Her name, I did not introduce her. Thank you, Mr. President. People like you sitting next to me. Her name is Dr. Monica Kretz Macau. Like I said, she will be famous. Your Excellency, Mr. President, I'll start with you, and you made a very interesting speech, also admitting some of the things that perhaps we haven't done right as Kenyans and as government. The whole innovation, the whole creative class in this country has been looked at with fear, because they'll push boundaries that we perhaps do not want to push. Are you prepared to commit to the fact that we no longer will be afraid of our creative class?
I want to make that No, I want to make that commitment, and I think, as I've said in my own statement, that I strongly believe that we have the capacity to do a lot more than we have actually done in the past. We have failed to actually acknowledge, I believe, as a government, as a country, the great possibilities that are actually out there and that we ourselves can match. I find it amazing, as indeed Anne mentioned in her own statement, that it is possible for our own young people to find interest from companies outside of Kenya, and yet companies within Kenya are paying very little attention to what is happening in terms of innovation in their own country. And it's not just the private sector, including government. That it is easier for them to go and buy off-shelf packages, right? Rather than take what we ourselves have created and expand the potential, because we should be their first point of call. I mean, in most developed countries, innovation and research and development take center stage. This is how they've actually managed to achieve their status of developed countries. It's not by going to search for productivity and innovation outside. It's by developing their own capacity. And this is what we ourselves need to really be able to focus on. And without a doubt, government plays an instrumental part in it, given the fact that we are the biggest consumer of goods and services. We are bigger than any private company in this republic. So we must take the lead. And this is something that I'm keenly going to push and follow up on, because this is, to me, it's the future. And it is the opportunity that we can give our young people. It is the opportunity and chance we have of really fast-tracking our social economic agenda in this country.
Your Excellency, when you commit to, at the beginning of that, you have just made a fantastic announcement, which I hope people have noted, that it's going to be 40%. Between an innovator having a good idea and an innovator being able to sell to the government, to sell to the private sector, there's very many steps that sometimes they get lost doing. Whether it's establishing a company, whether it's even being able to access government tendering, what will your government do to enable that steps or those steps to be taken?
You know, like I said, and I do agree, the first step starts with a commitment. Our commitment, for example, to the 30% to youth, women, and persons with disabilities. Yes, it then now comes to challenge. We need to be able to continually improve our ability to ensure that the right people are accessing that, because I do strongly believe that there are challenges, and we have heard that there are challenges. We have heard that there are instances where what is happening now is established businesses are putting the front name of some lady or young person, but it's the same people continuing to do business. So we've just got to find ways and see how do we continue to tackle these challenges. That's why I'm very keen and keep insisting on this issue of everybody in government getting onto the e-procurement system, so that we have a much more transparent way of being able to analyze who is getting these tenders. Are they going to the right people? And you know, the more we use technology, the more transparency we are able to obtain. The same will apply with the 40% that we have just announced. I know it will go back to the same old routine. But I strongly believe we continue fighting this issue, continue improving our systems, continue making them more transparent, more open. We will overcome some of these challenges. We are wanting now to change the law, because we also understand that it's been difficult for young people to register companies. And the question I've been asking is, why should it be difficult? You know, once you have an ID, why do you need to go and register a company? You know, you just take your ID and get a business name and do what you need to do. We need to simplify these things, right? So that we make it easier. But like I'm saying, the first point of call is the commitment. The second point is to continue refining the processes, yeah? And it's not going to happen overnight until you ensure that you are now reaching the people you are targeting as you move forward.